Welcome to Everything and More with Jeannette and Shai.
And our special guest today, Mr. Dean.
Hello.
Great. From the UK.
Everything and more.
Yeah.
I was saying
Oh
to
my
Shay that
gosh.
I can't stop saying that every 5 minutes. I'm like, everything and more.
So introducing Dean Frank.
Yes. So I've never met Dean. So this is our first real sit down conversation. But at the same time, Shai has met Dean multiple times. So why don't you give his introduction?
Yes. So Dean is a songwriter, singer, travel expert, author of a book, and best friend. I mean, everything and more for you.
So
lovely introduction.
Dean, why don't you give your introduction of who you are? What do you know about Shai and or just us? Talk about us, not just Shai.
I will. So obviously I'm Dean, we've said that already. I'm from the south of England, currently living in London. I've been here for 5 years. I met Shai 5-6 years ago, was it?
Yes.
I actually don't remember
in Jamaica.
In Jamaica, yeah, I've got no idea what year it was. It was pre-COVID, I know that. And yeah, we kind of hit it off. We were drinking lots of alcohol in a swimming pool all day. And then me and my friends just linked up with Shai and her group she was with. So yeah, we kind of just clicked and ended up spending the whole day together. And then the following day after that, before you left. So we just kind of connected straight away, which was nice. And yeah, a little bit about me. So I'm currently in between jobs. I've been working in the travel industry for around 12 years. So I've traveled to lots of nice places. I'm currently on country 44. So lots more to go. But yeah, it's my mission to do at least 2 or 3 new countries a year. So I'm always trying to get new random places under my belt to visit. And then on the side, which I'm trying to work on at the moment, is mainly to I do songwriting. I've written a kids book, which I'm trying to sort out a publishing deal for. Just random little side hustles that I'm trying to use my creative mind, because I've been in the corporate world for such a long time. I think I just needed that break to have the time to, really explore the creative side of me, which I'm loving so far. So it's going well. But yeah, I mean, thanks for having me on. It's an honor to be your first guest on Everything and More show. And yeah, it's exciting.
Well, you have been a huge impact in my life, whether you know that or not. Just from the first time we met, rolling back to Jamaica, I knew that we would be friends forever when you put the sunglasses on me, and everyone that put the sunglasses on had to dance.
Okay. Pause for 1 second. So we agreed that I would not hear any stories or know anything about Dean until today. So everything is...
It's gonna be fun.
Okay. And wait, let's hear about the sunglasses. Keep going.
So we were in an all-inclusive resort in Jamaica. We had both friends groups, which probably ended up being maybe 15 people, maybe 10. I don't know. It's a big group. So we're all in a circle in the one little club that you go to on the all-inclusive resort. And I think it was you that started it. Someone had found sunglasses that day and had been wearing them. And so we were playing a game. Everyone that put the sunglasses on had to dance. It was your turn to dance.
The whole time that they were on?
And they were passing around. So I knew immediately we were going to be friends, because if I can be silly and goofy with somebody, that's on a different level. Some people don't even know that side of me. Well, you remember that?
That was so yeah, it was kind of if you got given the glasses, you were nominated to then go in the middle of the circle and then bust some moves out. Yeah, that was such a fun day. I remember, I think I had my first cocktail at 11 a.m. that day in the pool, and then I think you were there as well. And then we just started to mingle, and there was a few other friends we made as well. And then I don't even think we had lunch. We were in the pool until they actually kicked us out of the swimming pool, because they were we're closing now.
It was it was an all-day pool adventure before we got to the bar. And then I don't know if you remember, after we had the whole dance episode, I think that it was at night, we went in the jacuzzi or the pool, and then I missed my step.
It was dark. We went to the beach. They had these jacuzzis along the beach. So we were getting in the pool, and Shai completely missed her step, but then like head first just dived into the swimming pool. Were you fully clothed as well?
Yeah, I was probably fully clothed. I don't
Because
remember.
we just come from the restaurants and the club, right, in the place. So it wasn't like you were in swimwear.
Totally. It was
And then you
very
just like,
dark.
yeah, and you just completely dunked under the water. I just remember it was so funny at the time. That's a fun first memory, I think, from there, definitely. And then
Yeah.
I think the day after that, I was severely hungover, so I stayed in the hotel room pretty much all day, getting room
You were
service and watching
recovering.
crime documentaries. You went to Margaritaville.
Oh yeah, we went to the Margaritaville. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
I think we were jumping off waterfalls.
Yeah, I don't know
That was
how
so
you did that the day
that was
after.
so scary, by the way.
Yeah.
Thought I was gonna lose my life that day.
And then I think you were leaving like the day after, so I think we might have met for dinner one more time.
One more time.
With the policeman and his wife from LA. Do you remember them?
Oh yes.
Then yeah, we had dinner at the French restaurant. I remember that, with the lit up menus. I just latched onto your group and just hung out with you guys, just me. So yeah, it was
Oh,
really
that's
fun.
right. You're taking me way back. So this was our
it was
first vacation together.
fun.
I'm gonna like roll fast forward just for another funny story to Charleston.
Okay, yeah, good one.
Yeah. Now I've traveled to see him several
I'd say
times
how
in
many
London.
times? I think about the last recent one.
3
You've been
times.
3 times, haven't you? 3.
3 times. I'm trying to make it an annual trip. But no, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, because then I think it was like a year or 2 years after, maybe, when you came to London for the first time in the summer, and that's when we saw each other again for the first time since Jamaica. And then after that, it was another year passed, and I was going to Florida for work. So then I was like, let me get some internal flights up to North Carolina, and I came and stayed with you in Charlotte, and then we went to Charleston. So yeah, that's obviously what you were leading on to now, the fun Charleston stories.
Oh gosh. Well, when it comes to planning, like how do you guys plan, or how did you guys coordinate? Did you guys just say like, hey, I'm gonna be here, or was it something that was planned for Charleston?
It's always, I feel like with us, it's always quite last minute, but it works. But as in, it's never like, oh, in a year's time, it's always like, I'm thinking of coming in the next couple of weeks. Are you around? And I'm like, yeah, I'm around, or you're around, and then we just make it work. And you know, when I came to Charleston and Charlotte, you had a little itinerary and you showed me all the sites, took me to nice bars and coffee shops.
Shay with an itinerary? What are you talking about?
Well, you know, she loves it. She loves to be organized.
I like my itinerary and my plans.
Yeah.
Well, he came during COVID, so it was kind of a different time. It was COVID or right after COVID, so like Charleston before.
The Trump was looking to close the borders as I was with you in Charleston. So then I got one of the last flights home from Orlando, and then otherwise
you didn't want to stay.
I wish I did, to be honest with you. Like,
so we were in Charleston, and we were with my significant other at the time, and we went to dinner, went out. He wanted to go home. And Dean and I.
I was saying you wanted to go, but then I realized we were talking about keep going.
And then we decided to keep the party rolling, didn't we?
Uh-huh.
I would say I've only been to Charleston one time, like on the town. So I am not as familiar, but when you guys say you went out, like what are the bar scenes? Are you a bar person? Are you a cocktail bar person? Where do you guys go? Or where did you go to?
I think we like to think we're like bar people, but once we've had a few drinks, I feel like we always want to find somewhere to dance, right? So whether that's a club or a bar with a dance floor, or I remember in Charleston, I don't remember all the places we went, but I remember in one bar, and there was a guy in like some sort of like shiny suit buying everybody drinks in the whole bar. Do you remember? And he was just buying trays and trays of shots. And then I started talking to some guy who was in that reality TV show from Charleston. What's it called?
Oh, Southern Charm.
Southern Charm. Do you remember that?
Oh my gosh, he's taking me back. No, I don't remember these details. I don't know why.
Yeah, and then I remember being like, oh, he's added me on Instagram. You're like, oh, he's in Southern Charm. I was like, what's that? And you were like, oh,
We'll have
it's
to
a
dig
reality
his
show.
name back up because now I kind of know who they are, but back then I did not know who they were.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I think as we do, we weren't ready to end the night. So I think the bars were closing, and then we made friends with like, I think they were university students, maybe.
Yeah,
And then we
what?
ended up going back to one of their houses. And then, yeah, we were in like some sort of student house party, just me and Shay. And then the
He
funny
said,
thing is, Shay was, as she does when she hangs out with me, just puts on an English accent all the time.
I feel it coming out already.
it's not there
Yeah.
yet, but when we're together, we exchange accents.
We do. But then, Shay was convincing everyone that she was from London. And then these two girls were talking to me like, why are you putting on that accent? Why are you pretending? I was like, I'm not pretending. Like, this is what I speak like. They're like, no, what? They were like, why are you doing that? You're trying to get girls with your accent. I was like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm just speaking how I do. I had to get my ID out to show that I was from the UK. And little Shay was doing her like little British accent. And everyone was like, oh my God, you're from London. But I was faking it, apparently. It was so
They
Not
funny.
believable.
They did not believe that we really truly were where we were from, and he had to show the ID. And then it was just so funny. Like, I would never go to a college party, but he had never been. So we were like, whatever, everything's closed. Why don't we just go?
Yeah.
And then they thought I think we were pretending we were married.
We were, yeah,
Yes, we were married.
and still are. No, yeah,
We're still married
still
friends.
married. Yeah. No, yeah, I think
Shay Franks.
I wish my memory wasn't as blurry. I remember it was the first time I ever tried a White Claw in that party as well.
Oh, I'm
my-
sure.
My
That's a
first
staple
experience.
piece of South Carolina.
Oh gosh, White Claws.
Mhm.
Okay. What did you think of a White Claw? Do you drink them now?
Yeah,
Or is
we
your-
have them.
Let's see
We have
your
them
cup.
over
What do you
here
drink?
now. But yeah, I mean, my experience of my partner now, Gabe, he hasn't been, but he really wants to come to Charlotte and Charleston because like I just love. I've been to the States a couple of times before, but mainly like Disneyland in Florida, and Charleston and Charlotte for me were like so different and almost like a real experience. Like we went to that beer, bourbon, and barbecue festival in
We did.
Charlotte.
So
It
when
was
you
Really
so
American.
really American, when you came here, I felt like well, now you will have a whole new experience. It's so many things are open. Charleston, I guess because it was around the COVID time, things were closed down. It just wasn't the experience that I am ready to roll out to you and Gabe. So I
Yeah,
hope you guys can make it soon.
I mean, I'd like to go to a beer, bourbon, and barbecue festival again. Though. In that event as well, someone also didn't believe that I was from the UK because of my teeth, apparently.
Your
Do you remember
teeth?
that?
Oh yeah, I remember like your teeth are too straight.
She was like, "Your teeth are too nice to be from the UK." And I was like, "Well, I think that's a stereotype."
Dumb Americans is what I would say.
Yeah.
No,
Unexposed, uncultured.
the difference I think between the Americans and people from the UK is that Americans, you will talk to anyone and like you give out compliments like it's nothing, and it's very much you're very like outgoing people. Like you're walking a lift and someone's like, "Oh, I like your outfit," or "I like this." Whereas in London specifically, everyone's just like tunnel vision, on a mission. Don't speak to me. Don't say hello. Like you go
It's a
into
big city
buy a
vibe, you know?
yeah, true. But like even I noticed when I went to Denver this year earlier for work, and like even when I'm like buying a coffee, everyone's like, "Oh, how are you? How's your day?" But in London, I'm very like, "Just a oat milk latte, please," and that's the conversation. And then they give it to you, and you walk off.
It's different.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's very like
It's a good
different. But
hangover
it's
area.
a question like if it's nice that people take the time to like want to chat with you, and it might not be
Yeah.
genuine, but it feels it at the time.
Well,
how
I
you
have
are.
to say one thing about y'all. One thing when I went to London, I had an experience one time when we were staying in the Airbnb the last night in London, center London,
Yeah.
with our crew that first time.
Mhm.
And it was hilarious. It was early Monday morning. We were all running late for the airport, so we decided we could not get a Lyft or Uber at all. We all decided to split up and run on the streets. We were running on the streets, and here's this girl, me. Every time I'd get to a corner, I'd be looking to the left. The car would be coming and it would pass. And so this truck that was unloading because it was a Monday morning, they were unloading the inventory into the store or whatever, kept seeing me and he'd be like, it's over here to the right, it's to the left, like, because the cabs would come and I would be turning my head and looking the other way. It was the most hilarious morning, but the people on the street were helping me.
Aw.
Yeah, I could see like
Little blonde girl with the bangs, probably just running around. Just so compact.
Have you been to the UK, Jeanette?
I have not. So
Definitely.
Shay and I were just
Come.
yeah, we need to go. My company, they have offices in Bristol and one of the headquarters in London. So I don't know, I had to find the address, but yeah, I think I could make it into a work trip because that's where the majority, like the F1 headquarters or section of it is. So
Yeah.
I think that there would be an opportunity for me to go and extend it for hanging out and seeing more and getting explored.
Bristol's a great city to visit as well. It's nice there.
I don't know. It just every time that we have Zoom calls, it's always like dark and gloomy and sad. So I don't know if I'm like, I don't know if I want to go do that, but
I don't know.
It'd be fun to see the city.
Dean and Gabe brighten it up for me, and I don't even care. I'll be in an umbrella twirling on the streets with them. Like, I even love the weather. I don't know what it is.
We became her like Instagram boyfriends. You know, you see them like following their partners around. We were like every moment. Gabe were like, "Oh, this would be great, Shay. If you could just walk along there, like give us a twirl, and then go across this bridge and do that." And we were just like constantly filming Shay and all these spots.
Let's need a full camera crew.
Yeah,
like who are they? And we just need our signs, everything and more.
Yeah,
tweet.
Yeah, definitely.
We have to next time. That'll be fun. Yeah, we have so many more memories. Like just a quick vacation memory is the last time I went in. Gabe is wonderful too. I would love for him to be on here as well. And he also plays piano along with Dean and sings. And we just stand around we don't have to go to any restaurant, any bar, whatever. I love just standing around your piano, pretending to be a singer myself, and listen to you guys sing is like magical and play the piano. And then he took me out he was like, you need a proper countryside vacation this time. So we went to the countryside and we went to all of these different villages. And then we stayed in this like mansion that had this piano that I'm sure you booked because it had the piano, right?
Yeah.
And and then we find out later that this is like a kind of like a secret production studio. And on the other side was the owners, and they would house I guess people coming in, right, that were producing music. And we were staying on that side, and we kept looking around, like seeing all these like pictures of artists that I didn't know, but you knew.
Yeah.
And we were like, wait a minute, this is something more.
So the rooms were closed off, but they were actually studios. So the bands and writers would come and stay for like a week or so in this mansion, and then they would just like live there, but then also have access to the studios to record and write music. But as we left, I texted the owner, just being like, question. And he was like, oh, I wish you said, I would have given you a tour. And we were like, damn it, we should have said when we were there. Outside from the garden, we were looking through the windows of the rooms, like, I think we can record them. But yeah, that was a really nice like little weekend away in the Cotswolds in the countryside, which is a beautiful part of
beautiful.
Yeah.
I like loved it. And I do remember I did get a little spooked in this mansion because we were all three and I was in their bed because they had a TV in the bedroom, and we were watching a scary movie and you were asleep, and me and Gabe were like really into this scary movie. Well, it spooked me out so bad. I just really wanted to sleep with you guys, but I know I couldn't. So I went back to my room and I was still spooked, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take a bath. So I took a bath in this great bathtub that the water was not even hot, but anyway. And then I think I had to listen to something to go to sleep because I was spooked out so in that mansion. It was just scary. I don't know. I felt like it was haunted at night or something.
Go and take pictures or something and like say that there was like I remember like getting a picture from you and being
that was Dean's photo.
Oh, I thought that was yours.
In the church.
Ghost photos from the castle party.
Yeah, we do a thing called champing, where basically abandoned churches in the UK, it's a charity. So to stop them from being knocked down, you can rent them for the night, and they set up like camp beds and lights. So we've done it 4 times now. We basically just go in these really amazing looking churches in the middle of nowhere and just stay the night and like put some music on and party and have some drinks. We took a photo. I took a photo and I didn't realize till the next day. And as I looked at it, I like zoomed in, and because we were like sitting around in a circle and there was just this big like halo, and there's just like a woman in the middle of the photo, right?
She was crossing her legs, like joining the party.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my
Very
gosh.
creepy. But we didn't notice until the next day. I think if we noticed that night, I would have been like, if you come to the UK in the summer, then we should do camping for one night too.
That sounds like a really fun time.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna be scared and not
Yeah.
sleeping with one of you.
We'll all be sleeping together.
We all sleep together. It's just a big open church. It's fine.
Like, that's a great concept, to be able to not have like those things being taken down and just finding another way to utilize that space.
Yeah.
How many churches are in that like grouping? Is it just like any of them, or do you have
there's like 100 or so churches across the whole UK, maybe more, and they're all like different sizes and different styles, and some of them are as old as like 13th century, so they're like hundreds and hundreds of years old.
I think that's amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's lead into talking about your music.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
had one full exposure to the song that you have produced. And then I know that you've done our intro music, but I've been trying to keep my eyes closed to you so that everything is brand new and more to me and learning about you. So what type of music do you produce and how did you get into it?
Well, so when I was younger, I was always like doing, I was on stage doing like various singing or dancing or in like musical theatre and things like that. So I used to like it. Then I went to secondary school and it wasn't cool to do that. So I stopped for like years. And then I would like secretly like sing by myself. And then I think when I got to university at one point, I was like, do you know what? I do really enjoy it. Let's give it a go. So I started like putting my feelers out there and, singing some covers and writing a few like original. I mean, when I listen back to them, they're awful, the first songs that I wrote. But actually, one I accidentally put in your G drive the other day, and that's the one you thought I'd left there for you. That was like,
oh yeah, she's like, I think Dean made me a song.
Yeah, I cringe when I hear that song, but I'm glad you liked it.
I loved it. Well, I was like mistaken because I sent her a message. I said, I think Dean wrote me a song. Like, why is he going to write me a song? Like, anyway, you brightened my day. I listened to it like 50 times.
Oh, cute. No, that song, actually, I entered into a competition with that song. It was called Prove You Wrong. And I remember I wrote that after I think I had a conversation with one of my parents. And I was in like basically almost like delusions of grandeur, like you can't be a singer, like find a proper job kind of thing. And then in my head, I was like, I'm going to prove you wrong. And then like I wrote that song. And then, I entered into a competition with, have you heard of Labyrinth, the singer?
No.
You'll probably know some of his music. He also, that series Euphoria?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Euphoria. He does all of the music for that. But anyway, I entered a competition with him to collaborate with him, and there was like about 1,000 people that entered. I didn't win, but I came second, which meant I just won some headphones. So I didn't get to like win the full prize, but that was like my first sort of like recognition of like, oh, maybe I can like write this and do this. But then as life happens, I find a job and then I just leave it for ages. So it's only like the past 2 years I've decided to properly get back into it again. And that's when I connected with these producers called Chords, who wrote the song with me and a few other people. It's by them and a singer called Tiana, and it's called I Got Me, which is the song that Shai likes. And also the intro music to this podcast is from that song as well. So that one, the Chords basically sent me like 5 or 6 tracks, and I just wrote loads of different songs on those, and I Got Me was the one they liked the most. It was very different, the version that I originally wrote. Like it was quite a different chorus. Can't remember how it goes now, but I'll have to like send you a snippet so you can hear it.
Oh yeah.
And then they were like, oh, we've got a perfect singer, her name's Tiana, she's from Norway. They did a song with her before. She's got a lovely voice as well, like great, very powerful, like great singing voice. And she had a listen to it and loved it. And then we also got Kevin, who is a songwriter and producer as well, involved. So then we ended up doing online virtual sessions to kind of flesh out the song and make it to what it has become today. And that was my first song that I'd been involved in that was released like to the public on Spotify, Apple Music, etc., which had really good, a good response. And then after that, it's quite a fickle industry. So I've worked with many different producers that just the songs don't go anywhere. So I'm sitting on a lot of music that is just in my G drive that I really like, but I can't put it anywhere because the producer no longer wants to work on it, or it just kind of fizzled out. So
I didn't know that.
It's a hard graft to like get something over the line. So I've been, working on little bits here and there. So that's when I was like, do you know what? I'm going to release some of my own music with me singing it, which I didn't particularly want to be an artist myself. I'd rather write for other people. But I thought it's good to have some sort of portfolio because then it may open doors to work with other people as well.
And you have an amazing voice. You should.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Not when I'm drunk though in Charlotte and you push me on stage to sing John Legend like you did that time.
Yeah. What? Yep. I made him sing at a karaoke bar because he's got the best voice. I want to be his American agent.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know the lyrics, so Shay stood next to me with the lyrics on her phone.
We made it work, and I have the worst.
We did. And then, so then I released my first track by myself this year, which actually in hindsight, I kind of rushed it and I was like, oh yeah, I like it, but it's not really the style. It's very sort of like poppy, disco-y track. It's called Biggest Fan. I kind of like it, but not really. So
I love it.
Thank you. But that's when I decided to go back to the drawing board because I think my voice better suits like R&B, like soul sort of songs. So that's why I'm now working on an EP of 4 tracks, which I'm going to release in the new year. I've got one which Shay's had a sneak peek already, which you can show Jeannette that one too. It's called Galactic. So yeah, I've like gone back to the drawing board a bit and like refocused on what I want my sound to be. And I think already I actually like listening to the songs myself. Like I'm at the gym listening to my own songs. Like this is cringy, but I don't care. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment with the music.
Yeah. I do have to roll it back just 1 second to I've Got Me. I think you remember because we were in the apartment when we lived together. You would be like, are you listening to that song again?
It was on repeat, like every day, every morning, all the time. And I would be like coming home, I'm like, it's on again. And she was having, even her door would be shut and I could still hear it clear. So it had to been like blasting in your room.
Yeah. Well, that song just got me through so much because like the transition that we talked about on episode 2 of being single and had not ever been single, it was time to focus on myself. And like, Dean, you helped me through with that song. And of course, the singer and everything was such an impact to me. Like music changes your mindset. And that song just, made me feel like it was my time to just focus on myself. And it's okay that you're not focusing on anyone else. And yeah, it just got me moving in the right direction. But she heard it playing like 110 times. I don't know how many streams you have coming out of Charlotte, but it was me.
Yeah. I mean, Charlotte does always appear on my stream list, well, like most stream cities. Oh yeah, just going back on what you were saying, I remember when I first sent it to you and you were like, what? This is like literally what I'm going through right now. And then when I listened back to it and when you told me obviously what was going on in your life at that point, I was like, oh yeah, weirdly like word for word, it's like fully like representing what you were doing. And when I wrote the like original version of it, I didn't have like a concept in mind. I wasn't going through anything myself. I literally just recorded noises and then I just filled in the gaps with words and then was like, oh, I got me. That sounds quite nice there. And then I just built the concept around that line. And then, the fact that it was like word for word, and obviously, as Jeannette knows, because you played it a million times a day.
Yeah. And I created a whole music video for you on Instagram
with
the Porsche.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, And that's how I got me, still out there in the world. Listen to it, everyone, if you haven't.
Yes, please listen to it. It's
I'll put it
great.
into the show notes.
We're gonna have the singer on. She already agreed, so that's gonna be very
Yay,
exciting.
Nice. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So it's been a great episode with Dean from London. Oh my gosh, telling funny vacation stories, talking about all your creative projects. And, you know, we're just going to wrap it up with the quote that you made up for us.
I've forgotten it. What is it?
It's okay. I've got it right here. You know, we've had challenges this episode with connection problems.
Connection, equipment, our brains, just everything.
Everything and more.
Yeah.
So here we are. We've arrived at the quote that you made up for us. And it kind of is bounced off of you and I. It's conversations create connections. And if, you know, you had not, it was probably you that came up to me that day, we would not be here today. And look at this journey we've had of great friendship.
Yeah, and now I am so honored and grateful to be able to have you as a friend and get to know more about you and be able to extend our network and our time to be able to come see you. So I'm excited and grateful for having the connection.
Definitely. thank you for having me on as your first guest. I appreciate that. And yeah, look, I mean, as you say, we've got many more stories we could tell and lots more to talk about. So we could do a part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. But yeah, come to London. I'll come to NC, and we'll definitely keep the conversations going.
Well, Dean, it was again great to have you on. Looking forward to seeing what type of next content you're creating and what you're going to do special with us as well. So we're excited to have it. So thank you again for spending your night with us. So it was a great and pleasure. So cheers to you.
Cheers to you on everything and more. First guest episode. Woo!
And more.